Humble beginnings, the fighting spirit behind Hollywood's brightest stars. Before they were famous. Before the red carpet was rolled out, before fans screamed, and before millions landed in their bank accounts, some of the world's biggest stars were just ordinary people, broke, overlooked, and fighting for a chance. They were not born into fame. They clawed their way up with ambition, sleepless nights, and relentless effort. This is the unknown side of fame, the part cameras rarely capture. It is the backstory behind the billion-dollar brand. From fast food counters to homeless shelters, these are the real, unfiltered roads stars traveled before they became famous. Take a seat. Their struggle might be exactly the motivation you did not know you needed. From odd jobs to Hollywood legend. Before Brad Pitt became a Hollywood heartthrob, he was just another broke student at the University of Missouri, studying journalism. But at 22, just 2 credits short of graduating, he dropped everything and drove to Los Angeles to chase a dream with less than $300 in his pocket. How did he pay the bills? He put on a chicken suit and handed out flyers for a fast food restaurant on Sunset Boulevard. Humiliating? Maybe. But Pitt did not care. That chicken suit became a stepping stone. He also worked as a limousine driver and refrigerator mover, anything that let him attend auditions during the day. His first break did not come from acting school. It came from pure persistence. Brad Pitt's success was not inherited, it was earned. The writer who slept in his car. Today, Tyler Perry is one of Hollywood's richest moguls. But in the early 1990s, he was broke, homeless, and desperately trying to get strangers to watch a play he had written and financed with his life savings. He slept in his car for months, showered in public restrooms, and collected endless rejections. His first play was a complete flop. But he did not stop. He rewrote it, promoted it again, and when he finally sold enough tickets, everything changed. Today, Perry owns a studio worth $250 million. But every brick of that empire was fought for with endurance, rejection, and freezing nights in a car. The pop star who cleaned houses. Before she was Beyoncé the icon, she was just a young girl with big dreams in Houston, Texas. Her father quit his job to manage Destiny's Child, pushing the family into financial hardship. They lost their home. Her mother worked long hours in a hair salon while Beyoncé rehearsed in makeshift studios, sometimes up to 10 hours a day. To help pay for studio time and travel, Beyoncé even cleaned houses with her mother. Fame did not simply knock on the door. They chased it with sweat, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment to a vision. By the time Destiny's Child got a record deal, Beyoncé had already put in more than a decade of hard work. Her rise was not sudden, it was shaped by struggle. The comedian who slept in laundromats. Jim Carrey is now known for his rubber face and Hollywood millions, but at 15 he was living with his family in a van after his father lost his job. The Carreys parked near factories and used public restrooms to survive. Jim performed in comedy clubs at night and slept during the day in tents or laundromats. He even wrote himself a check for $10 million, dated 10 years in the future, and carried it in his wallet as motivation. 10 years later, he landed Dumb and Dumber, and earned exactly that amount. His story shows that belief, even during homelessness, can build a legacy. From troubled teen to action star. Before Mark Wahlberg became a blockbuster star, he was a troubled teenager from Boston with a criminal record. He dropped out of school at 13. By 16, he had been arrested nearly 20 times, including for a violent assault that sent him to jail. After his release, he wanted redemption. He became Marky Mark and launched a short-lived rap career. But he did not stop there. He began acting and took every role he could get, small parts, television appearances, anything. Then Boogie Nights pushed him into the spotlight. From jail to Hollywood's A-list, Wahlberg's path was not a miracle. It was a comeback built on work and hard lessons. The girl who heard 600 no's. Rejection breaks most people. Not Lady Gaga. Before the meat dresses and chart domination, Stefani Germanotta was just another struggling singer performing in New York bars. She was dropped by Def Jam only 3 months after signing. More than 600 people said no before someone finally said yes. She was bullied, misunderstood, and told she did not have the right look for music. But Gaga kept writing, performing, and believing in herself. When Just Dance finally came out, it was not luck, it was the final domino after years of hard work. Every outrageous outfit and every eccentric performance was rooted in endurance. The actor who could not afford acting school, Samuel L. Jackson, did not get his first major film role until he was over 40. Before Pulp Fiction and Marvel fame, he was a stage actor, broke, addicted, and struggling to support his family. He worked as a social worker to stay afloat, but the dream never died. In fact, while he was in rehab, he landed the role of a lifetime in Jungle Fever. That film launched the career the world knows today. Jackson's story is not just about late success. It is about second chances and staying ready even when life knocks you down. The immigrant who slept on the floor. Arnold Schwarzenegger's story sounds like a movie, but it is real. He came from Austria to America with a heavy accent, little money, and no Hollywood connections. He lived with roommates, slept on floors, and worked in construction. At the same time, he trained with discipline and won bodybuilding titles to gain attention. When he tried to act, casting agents laughed. His accent, his name, even his muscles, they said none of it would work. But Arnold refused to quit. He used the very things that made him different. Eventually, the Terminator made him a legend. His rise was not built on luck, it was built on embracing rejection and working harder than everyone else. The Waitress who won an Oscar. Jennifer Lawrence grew up in Kentucky, far from the glamour of Los Angeles. At 14, she convinced her parents to take her to New York to find an agent. No connections, no guarantees, only hope. She was discovered while walking down the street. But the road ahead was far from easy. Lawrence worked as a waitress and babysitter to pay for auditions. She missed school, was constantly criticized, and was often rejected for being too intense. But she kept going. She kept auditioning. Eventually, Winter's Bone earned her an Oscar nomination, and The Hunger Games turned her into a global icon. Every red carpet moment was paid for by years of hard work behind the scenes. The man who slept on his aunt's couch. Before he became Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, one of Hollywood's highest-paid stars, he had just $7 in his wallet. After a failed football career, he was broke, depressed, and sleeping on his aunt's couch. But instead of giving up, he found a new path. He entered the family wrestling business and built the character of The Rock from the ground up. He performed for small crowds, faced years of rejection, and learned acting in between matches. That wrestling ring became his audition stage. Eventually, he made the jump to Hollywood, and the rest is history. But Dwayne never forgot that couch. In fact, his company is called $7 Productions, named after that exact rock-bottom moment. What fame hides. We often see fame as something effortless, as if talent alone opens every door. But the truth is that most stars people admire were forged through hard work. They cleaned toilets, wore chicken suits, slept in cars, and endured thousands of rejections. Their lives did not begin in mansions. They began with courage, with no's, and with nights spent wondering whether it would ever work out. Fame does not come easily. And for the people who had to fight for it, it never came quickly. These stories are not just inspiring. They remind us that behind every spotlight stands a long, dark tunnel that someone walked through with courage. Because before they were famous, they were exactly like us.